Alex, you have kids.
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
You love your kids, don't you?
Why? What is this?
Well, a new report that came out in April. There was a report that I just stumbled across about Lunchables.
Here in October.
One of the great inventions of the 90s for us as school boys, young lads. The Lunchable, which I always thought was a relatively healthy lunch. It's just, crack. It's like a sandwich in pieces.
Yeah.
Meat, cheese, and wheat.
It's just deli meat, deli cheese, crackers out of a box.
Yep, that is what
Oscar
a Lunchable.
Mayer made.
These are all Lunchable things.
These are all Lunchable things.
But Consumer Reports published an article, Should You Pack Lunchables for Your Kids' School Lunch? Consumer Reports found the lunch kits and some similar ones from Armour, Oscar Mayer, and others contained lead and other contaminants, and most were high in sodium. The sodium, who the fuck cares? Ooh, my 8-year-old has hypertension. Oh, I'm so sorry. Come on, grow up, babies.
I mean, if you're buying them like deli meat to make them like sandwiches for lunch too, that's also got a ton of sodium.
That's what I thought, was that deli meat would be the same thing.
Yeah, because it's just a preservative. It's the most simplistic baseline preservative that there is. Salt.
Oh, they were introduced in the 80s. I didn't know that.
Maybe 89.
Yeah, that's
88,
okay.
89 maybe.
Maybe like first grade. Well, I guess let's do a little.
Probably in like test markets too. But like nobody remembers them from the 80s. I just remember them popping up one time at like Jewel Osco. My mom came home with them and be like, "Hey, check these out. Lunchables. I'll pack you one of these for lunch."
1988.
Oh, that's
about perfect timing though for us.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's like kindergarten into first grade for us. So
So she packed me one of those and she gave me a 16-ounce Boku in my lunch bag.
Way for Oscar Mayer to sell more bologna and other lunch meat.
I would just eat their bologna regardless.
After organizing focus groups of American mothers, discovered that their primary concern was time. Working mothers especially were pressed by the time constraints of fixing breakfast for their families as well as packing lunch for their children.
So how about a feast of Munster and roast beef? You couldn't do better than chicken and cheddar or pile on bologna, salami, or Colby. Attack a stack of Monterey Jack. Add turkey and wheat and your lunch is complete with ham and Swiss on rye you can't miss. With 8 varieties of Lunchables, your lunch will never be the same.
Lunch, it's Lunchable.
From Oscar Mayer.
Are Lunchables really good choices for your kids? Tested similar snack items from Armour Lunch Makers, Good and Gather, that's Target brand, your favorite, Greenfield Natural Meat, and Oscar Mayer. But Oscar Mayer is Lunchables.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you remember, wasn't there like a Hickory Farms version or Hillshire Farms? Hillshire Farms. Because I was not, I was not opposed to Lunchables, but Hillshire Farms lunch kit. Oh, fucking DuckDuckGo. Get out of here. It's one thing to be privacy forward, but you have to like actually. No, they were like little sandwich kits, is what I remember.
That kind of looks like it. Wouldn't it be it?
No, they had like buns and everything.
Oh, buns.
They were little sandwiches.
Okay. Kind of. I do remember for Lunchables they also had what was it? The pizza. Make your own pizza was very popular in my household. I also found out then they also later on had like chicken nuggets, like cold chicken nuggets, and then also like nachos with cheese.
Oh, look at the Hillshire Farms Lunchable is all super fancy.
Yeah. What's the sodium amount on that? Probably something several hundred grams of sodium.
I don't even know what's good or bad for sodium content. I don't know. Here we go. Nutrition information. Sodium, 960 milligrams.
So we'll see. Also, it's like 40% of your daily value.
Yeah, well, it's one meal. So if you have 2 of these and like an apple for breakfast, it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, basically. I mean, If it's okay by the FDA, I mean, what's their belly aching all about?
So the key findings, there's a lot to be concerned about in these kits.
Mm.
Get ready, Alex.
Okay, all right.
Basically, you're abusing your children. They're highly processed. That's all American food.
That's Jesus, stupid.
And regularly eating processed meat, a main ingredient in many of these products, has been linked to increased risk of some cancers. So no, you can't eat.
I'm pretty
deli
sure they
meat
sell
anymore?
these in California, where they say everything will kill you.
We also found that some kids had potentially concerning heavy metal and phthalate levels.
Phthalates, yeah.
Phthalates.
Was it parabens? And phthalates are like the new buzzwords for all this stuff.
Do you think the school lunch versions might be better? Sorry, they have even more sodium than the store-bought versions.
School lunch versions might be
I don't
better.
know.
Were the school lunch versions of Lunchables?
I
Or
guess
are they talking about school lunch?
It says, do you think the school lunch versions might be better? Sorry, they have even more sodium than the store-bought versions. So I'm assuming they're talking about Lunchables.
Oh, okay.
Bottom line, we don't think anyone should regularly eat these products, and they definitely shouldn't be considered healthy school lunch. So I was a very picky eater.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, that's not fair. I wasn't picky. I just was particular. As in, I would never eat, I couldn't do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because the bread would get soggy.
Oh, so it was a texture thing.
It was a texture thing. I hated soggy bread. Mm-hmm. And so, but that even led to, like, I couldn't eat. This is why I like the Hillshire Farms thing, because it all came in separate little packages. But I couldn't eat like a regular sandwich with mayonnaise because, or even just having the bread and the meat, the texture got all funky.
It's still like a clammy wetness.
Clamminess, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's sort of like when you, kind of like when you have a hamburger and you squirt out the ketchup on it and you didn't shake it up beforehand. You get just like that liquidy stuff, and you're just like, that type of stuff.
But so, like, yeah, I was always, and then there was always the really, maybe you were one of these kids. There were like the really perverse children who brought in SpaghettiOs in a thermos for lunch.
Did I do that one time?
Yeah, you're a pervert.
I think I had a DuckTales lunchbox when I was a kid in like first grade, maybe first or second grade, and it came with a thermos, and I'm pretty sure my mom made me soup a couple times of some sort, including kids would bring chicken noodle soup too, like which
Campbell's
would be
chicken
the
noodle.
hardest time to like clean or eat or something, because you're just like, how do I get my spoon into something this deep? Because you're like a kid, like a 7-year-old, and you're like.
You would have thought that the parents would be better at this, but there's so many kids I remember who would come in with the SpaghettiOs in a thermos, and I just found it to be very off-putting.
And God, you hope that mom did a good job tightening that thing that morning, because you're like, it's going to be a terrible day if it wasn't like that.
Yeah, but so like, what was the traditional Alex lunch like?
I think for the majority of the time I had some sort of meat and cheese sandwich with maybe Miracle Whip.
Oh wow! Okay, that definitely.
Sometimes it would be barbecue sauce. I think if I asked my mom if I could do it.
Wow. Okay.
A plastic baggie with baby carrots in it, because mom said that the carrots are gonna make your eyes
help
better.
your eyes. Yeah.
And then it would be maybe some cookies and some potato chips, like in a bag. Like she used to get those the boxes. I think it was a Cub Foods. It was like Vintners, like little lunch size baggies of plain, like barbecue, right, plain potato chips, sour cream, and onion potato chips. So it's kind of like that. And then to drink, it would be a 32 ounce of Boku. Or sometimes I used to get the juice. I asked her for juicy juice, I think it was
Wait a second. Why would you go from a 32-ounce Boku to like a 4-ounce Juicy Juice?
Because then I think they stopped selling Boku at a certain point.
Yeah, but it was the opposite size. Why were you getting Boku to begin with?
I don't know. My mom was just buying crap at Cubs. I don't know.
But she was buying like the adult size.
She didn't know. She didn't know. She's like, oh, it's sold in the juice aisle. It must be the same. I have a husky growing boy. He's thirsty.
I mean, I loved Boku. Don't get me wrong, but it was like it's clearly 32 ounces as opposed to what 12, 10 for a high C.
Yeah.
All I wanted was a Boku.
But I also got the little. They were like
6
very fancy.
ounces. A high C juice box is 6 ounces. Meanwhile, Alex's mom was confused apparently
Sugar water.
and bought him a 32-ounce adult size juice box.
Yeah. There was also I don't know if it was called Juicy Juice. It might have been, but it came in a small carton with a straw, and it had very fancy, like artwork on it that looked like Beatrix Potter. There was like a frog and like an empire type of outfit, and there was like a rabbit with like a dress and a parasol. Juicy Juice, yeah. And I remember the commercials, and I was like, oh, that looks adorable. Mummy, I want that juice.
Here's to McCain from the tiny and the small. For McCain Jr. Juice is the best taste of all. McCain Jr. Juice from Superb Concentrate is just enough juice and deliciously great. So let's have a junior and drink from the box. Uh-oh, time to split. Here comes the fox.
McCain Junior Juice, the just enough size.
What's funny also about this is that like I feel like the heyday of Lunchables has pretty much been done for quite some time now, and this is kind of. I mean,
why is that?
Because I don't really see like advertising for it. Like it's not. There's not like a big standout like display of it at the supermarket. It's like you got some spots for it and stuff, but it's not like.
So what are kids doing now? What do you send with your kids?
Peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables that we make at home, like handmade at home. We get like several loaves of bread, then we get the peanut butter and jelly, and we have a little assembly line. And then we have these presses.
I like how Alex wants to explain to me how he makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Like it's how it's made.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a little sandwich, and then like chips, like a little packet of fruit gummy snacks, and then tomatoes or grapes or baby carrots. Fuck.
You're feeding the kids the exact same thing that you
same stuff I had back when I was a kid. And we have done some of the Lunchables and stuff, but it's not like it's 5 days a week and such like that. And we've also been doing little charcuterie things for them. We got them little like bento-y, boxy looking things, and we put stuff in there.
It's funny you mentioned charcuterie because Ro commented to me that she thinks that the reason that millennials are so obsessed with charcuterie boards is because it's the grown-up version of a Lunchable. And that this whole trend started because everyone who's 30, 40 years old now was being served Lunchables in school for a decade.
Which if we were being served charcuterie as children, I mean, that's very fancy for us.
Yes, well, but that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
It's the evolution of the Lunchable, not.
Now this is the adult version.
Yes, it has evolved. Like everyone grew up eating these cheese and crackers, and then they were like, "I want to keep eating cheese and crackers. How do I make it fancy?
Yeah,
we're gonna call it a charcuterie board." And,
well, I've also always been very fascinated by like the stories that you would hear where there was these kids that would like have like fast food all the time for lunch back in school. Not at our schools. Because we, like, there's nobody like that. But, like, I heard, like, stories about, like, kids that would get, like, they had, like, a school that had, like, an on-site Taco Bell or McDonald's or some shit. And they would have, like...
In grade school?
Like, grade schools or high schools and stuff. And I'm like, what's the kids' waistline these days?
I mean, I know that colleges obviously have stuff like that.
Yeah, colleges.
And universities. But, like... No, I've never heard of that at a grade school. And I don't even think that would be legal today. You can't serve fast food directly to 8-year-olds.
Or it's like they would be sent to school with like the lunch, or their mom would drop it off or something like that.
Well, see, that was
more of a 90s thing, I think.
That was taboo and largely discouraged happening at our school, because randomly some kid would forget their lunch, and then some dad would show up at noon with McDonald's with a Happy Meal, and everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, but it was not, did not make the kid popular.
Yeah, no.
Because everyone knew that you weren't supposed to do that. So when that kid's dad showed up with McDonald's, everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, you're an asshole. Like, nobody liked the kid who got the fast food. It was not something to be proud of. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. Dads out there, don't, if it's taboo at the school, don't put your kid in that situation.
Yes. We sent the picture of this lunch to registered dietitian Dr. Jennifer Jackson. She said Cheez-Its is not an acceptable whole grain component since the ingredient is wheat flour and not whole grain. However, she went on to say that yogurt is an acceptable meat alternative. Looking at this picture, you have the grain, a vegetable, and a fruit. But wait a minute. The box of raisins in the picture is only 1 ounce. To get a full half-cup serving of fruit, the school would have to put 4 boxes of raisins in the plate.
I don't know how I would handle kids eating if I had children, because I would have to be sympathetic to what I was like as a child and what I wanted. And I've talked to you about this before with making kids eat, because I didn't want to get forced to eat when I was a kid.
Well, you've seen ours eat, so you know how it is.
I do.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though, is like when I'm like watching one of your kids have a meltdown over not wanting to eat, I'm kind of in the background being like, hey, he doesn't want to eat. Yeah. And you're like, but I don't want to feed him again later.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're like, Alex is like, I want to play Fortnite. I don't want to feed my kid at 9 o'clock.
It's like all of a sudden the kid becomes like a nocturnal animal and is like hunting for food in like the kitchen.
I was
like a raccoon by the trash cans.
I was a bad kid. That was what I was like. So I'm empathetic to how your kids feel. But I do think that this whole thing about Lunchables being the end of the world for children seems to be like something that people would do in 2024, is worry about Lunchables.
Yeah, Consumer Reports kind of goes on these weird like diatribes and crusades about certain things that are just kind of like, where did this come from? Why are you bringing this up? It's like, is it a slow news day? There's no new cars to do reviews on and stuff. And we used to subscribe to Consumer Reports for a while, and I think it was gifted to us as a subscription. And then at a certain point, you're just like, why would I care about prescription drug prices? I'm nowhere within that age bracket. And then you slowly start realizing it appeals far more to a certain demographic of people. Although this demographic now is kind of shifting, where it's like we can start appealing to like people in their 40s and 50s that have kids in school still. So I think that's what it is. But at the same time, it's like, out of the blue, just bringing this up about Lunchables, it's like we've always known that like deli meat's like bad, and there's always been like news reports and studies done about it because for various reasons. So it's like, it's kind of like somebody was to do another documentary now about how fast food is like really bad for your health and stuff. It's like, okay, been there, seen this before.
Because that went over so well the first time. I mean, it went over really well, except that now in hindsight, everyone kind of looks at that documentary as an embarrassment.
Yeah, it's sort of the damage is done already.
Right. It's sort of like an inconvenient truth. Mm-hmm. Like, these are two documentaries that came out that were like a big deal when they were released, and everyone took them super seriously, and now they're both kind of jokes. Like, they're both kind of punchlines.
Yep. We should have been 50 feet underwater. Like,
according to an inconvenient truth, we should all be dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Well. Oh, okay. Produced by Oscar Mayer, owned by Kraft Heinz. Huh. Oh, so Kraft owns Oscar Mayer. Got it.
Yep, under their big umbrella.
Manufactured by Kraft Heinz in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. Still got it.
We have a massive craft plant here in Champaign that I think it primarily just produces mac and cheese. And it makes like an ungodly amount of mac and cheese. There's like a giant fiberglass like noodle in the front of it, like the semicircle noodle.
Nice. Didn't somebody get stuck in a noodle once? In the craft noodle?
Down here?
Somewhere. Maybe it was in Chicago. They had the craft noodles.
I mean,
someone
we got
stuck.
dumb college kids here, so it's very plausible.
Man stuck in craft noodle. Let's see. I was visiting my family in Champaign, Illinois.
You know you love it. I'm surprised that it's hollow.
Oh, they got yelled at. No, he didn't get stuck. They just got yelled at for trying to take a picture.
Oh, that's
busted by the mac and cheese police. They were on private property. Anyway, what was your favorite like treat snacky lunch thing? So like they were like Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos were always
like
solid.
The cheese with the red stick.
Oh
cheese
yeah,
the crackers.
Spread.
Yeah. So like what kind of snacky or like treat or like like not jelly beans, but the like
Gushers.
Well, any of those gelatinous. Fruit by the foot.
Yeah, fruit by the foot. I liked string thing.
What's string thing?
It was kind of like fruit by the foot, but it was more like this long ropey.
Oh.
And it was basically they tried to do like a super rope, but it was like on this like wax.
I forgot about that.
It was like waxed craft paper almost.
Yeah.
And you kind of like really peeled it. The one I really disliked was fruit roll-ups because it never really separated that great.
Yeah.
And then when you got to the very end, it kind of was folded over, so you can like fully extend it out. And then like the pictures or the designs or whatever, they were like, like somewhat cut out. Never could get punched out properly, so it just was not too impressive in my book. Although I do have to say, I was one of the first kids. My mom would sometimes pack me weird food, and I was one of the first kids in my school that I think ever ate hummus. Where she used to get me like they were like Lunchables, but they had little like pita chips.
The pita and the hummus. They weren't pita chips. It wasn't pita chips. It was pita. Yeah, it was pita slices. I remember you eating those at our high school.
Yeah.
You brought those to lunch at our high school, and that made me want to have them. So I looked into those. I was like,
Yeah, they're out of Boku at that point, unfortunately.
I was one of the first kids to bring sushi to lunch. My mom, 6th grade.
Oh.
My mom had gone to some Japanese parent, invited her to some like dinner party with a bunch of like just trays of food, and the mother was like, take this home, take sushi home with you, because I've got these trays of it. So my mom brought it home and was like, Brendan, we got sushi for days. And I was like, I'm taking sushi for lunch. And then I was the asshole kid being like, let me just open up my little lunch here. Oh, what's this? Sushi.
You're like asshole. Molly Ringwald in The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. So, and nobody wanted to talk to me. Sushi was not cool at that time.
Oh.
Yeah.
But kid sitting there with this like Swiss and turkey sandwich going like,
yeah,
I had sushi.
I bowed to my food. I took out my hashi, or as the other kids knew it, chopsticks.
Oh, such uneducated people.
They were like, are those chopsticks? I'm like, no, they're hashi.
Come on,
I
can
son.
tell you're not a man of culture.
So
that's funny.
I have bizarrely fond memories of the shark gummy candy thing, like fruit things.
Mm-hmm.
What were those called? And then there was like the white shark that was the rare shark.
Yeah, it was like the chase shark. And you ate it and you're like, oh, okay.
Snack. What are they called? Fruit snacks?
They might have been fruit snacks.
Shark bites.
Were they shark bites maybe?
No, maybe not.
If you do 1980s shark gummies. Yeah, there were
There was
shark
shark
bites.
bites.
But
Yep,
look how
the
much
white-
better that box art
The
is.
white
So much
one.
better.
Oh God.
Now, just when you thought it was safe to eat shark bites, the shark may have up to 3,000 teeth.
Class dismissed.
We need to bring back some of that stuff to kind of, because sometimes I'm shopping for stuff in the aisles and I'm like, there's nothing unique here, nothing that catches my eye. It just.
Well, it's funny that there's entire aisles that disappear from your life until you have kids again. So
cereal.
Well, I buy cereal I buy Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I buy Lucky Charms. I buy. I also buy Special K. So I run the gamut.
Because you're an adult. You're getting up there. You need those additional minerals and vitamins.
I need my bran. But like juice boxes and chewy fruit snack treats, like those things get phased out and then they come back in when you have kids.
Yeah, it's like. I don't even know how to describe it. Like snack cake bars, like Little Debbie and Hostess and stuff like that. That's not at a gas station. Like if you're just like someplace and you're like, oh, I can go for one of these right now.
Right.
Yeah. Potato chips in small packaging and stuff like that.
See, when I was a kid, my family wasn't above just throwing it into a sandwich bag, just buying the big bag of chips, and they're like on your own.
Yeah, I do it sometimes too. It depends on if we have stuff like animal crackers sometimes, or small pretzels and stuff. So,
well, what's your favorite snack treat from when you were in grade school, bringing lunch to school? Leave it in the comments. or send us an email.
Yes, I was about to answer your question.
I know you were.
We just talked about this, but let me tell you.
I was looking into the camera.
Yeah. So. Oh, I also brought Sun Chips once to school.
Do you remember when Sun Chips went to the extremely loud bag?
That obnoxious little boy made me realize as a journalist, I need to dig deeper into the story. So we took a sound level meter to test how loud the bag really is. My voice, the bag of chips. If you plan on eating Sun Chips out of the bag, don't try having a conversation.
It was a
very crinkly bag?
Yes, very crinkly. It was a whole ordeal. Like it was
news. It was like a legitimate
it was news that this happened. Like they were, but never mind. It's not worth it. Bye.
Oh, bye. Bye.